said, I'll take my car. When you're done, you come back.
So weird that having
There you
kids
go.
in school like this.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was homecoming week. I was coming into town this morning and I was like, what are those bleachers sitting there for? I'm like, there's a parade. It's homecoming time.
Yeah.
My neighbors are building a float, and I'm like, I don't know what that's for.
Right? Yeah, I know. It's
A
like,
friend
oh,
of mine,
it is. Yeah, it's about that time.
I picked her friend up from the airport, and I go, why are you here for 3 weeks? And she goes, it's my 50th class reunion. And I went, really?
Is it homecoming? Homecoming?
Yeah.
It happens.
Nice.
Are we gonna be recording?
It will be live, yeah.
Okay.
It will come on at 4. It should be coming on anytime.
Any minute?
Yeah.
Very happy, I think, very well.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, it says it's live. So, yeah. There you go.
are we good? All right. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. I'm going to call the library board meeting to order. Does anyone have an opportunity to take a look at the minutes from the August 28th meeting? Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes from the August 28th meetings, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, goodness, it's been a day. It feels
I'll
like a
move to
Monday
approve.
today. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Thank you, Lance.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the August 28th meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, I'll get back on track, Dr. Hahn. All right.
It's all good.
Financial reports.
Right. I wanted to take a quick minute first to explain why our police chief is here. The way the Sturgis City government is working right now, all the departments report to one person who then reports to the mayor, and Jody is the library is under his jurisdiction now, so he thought it might be prudent to attend the board meetings to see what's going on and maybe answer any questions we might have about anything at the city level. So we'll have an opportunity to do that here in a minute if you guys have any questions. Hi, Kristen.
Well,
welcome. The transactions for the city, nothing out of the ordinary. We did have, I used some of our equipment maintenance to get a couple of computers since we probably won't get any next year. And we've got a couple ending their lifespan, so I went ahead and bought a couple of those. And then we also have to pay a license fee for the outdoor Wi-Fi. And so the $501 is for a 3-year license for those. So those will be good for another 3 years. We have our internal firewall license is up in October, and so I'll be purchasing that. That's going to be about $350 for the year for the protections there. Other than that, it's mainly books and newspapers.
A quick question.
Yes.
So the license, that's specific to the library, so we don't like share the Wi-Fi with this facility?
Well, the outdoor Wi-Fi is a separate thing.
Okay.
And there's a transmitter over here and over there. And the company that makes those, Meraki, you purchase a license that provides software updates and maintenance and all of that for those.
So specific to the outdoor,
So,
thank you.
yeah, that's the outdoor Wi-Fi license. And so that comes to $100 and some a year. It's cheaper if you buy it in a longer period, which is why I went the 3-year instead of just the 1 year. And what else is on? Our book drop the neoprene seal that goes between the sleeve that leads outside and the inside was wearing out. So I purchased a couple of those so we can repair those.
Chris, may I ask?
Yeah.
Following up on Cricket's question, that Wi-Fi, is that,
Mm-hmm.
is it shared? I mean, is it available? Is that what we use it in the building
No,
in general, or is that just?
no, that's just for outside. It started during the pandemic when the library was closed. So people that don't have wireless access were able to use it. And it's proven to be incredibly popular. And so we keep going. Yeah. Yeah. So anytime you walk around, you can see people sitting in their cars, and a lot of times, yeah, they're using that Wi-Fi. Yeah. So that's what that's for. Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything we had. Let's see. Sierra is off presenting at the South Dakota Library Association Conference the rest of this week, so the $215 to the SDLA was for her registration fee. So she's presenting on her coding club initiatives and how those have been successful. So that's the city stuff. The Memorial Miscellaneous is pretty much the normal stuff. The copier, the water in the break room, and we did renew our membership in the American History Association that gives us a discounted rate on Past Perfect. So that's in there as well. And then we had interest in our savings accounts. And we talked about the donation that Jim was able to secure for us for the flooring. And so that's great. That'll sit there and hopefully be used once we get enough money in there to pay for that.
So
Yeah.
and I'm sure you're too, my concern is the wear on the floors are still progressing, I'm assuming, or did you say that
Yes.
we were able to make some repairs?
We repaired the stuff that was bubbling up. Yeah, Judd came in and cut a little strip out and was able to glue that down. There's another spot that's starting to bubble. So we may end up doing the same thing to that as well. Yeah,
The 12,000, I think it was 12.
it was 12,000, yeah.
That was that's replacing all of that linoleum or the.
Yes, all of the linoleum that's in the work area, yeah.
Not just the wearing areas, but that one,
That whole
back room, so to speak.
whole back area, yep. And into the staff
So
room.
part of the intention was as I understand, we had $6,000 in one savings account that could be perhaps applied.
Well,
I don't know if that was, but
no.
when I went to the bank to ask their participation.
Right,
which were
right.
at 2,000, I asked them for 6, with the
Right.
idea that would,
Yeah.
we'd be able to.
Well, we do have, if you look at the Dunn Trust savings is at 32,700, and the Memorial Miscellaneous savings is at 48,200. Some of that money is earmarked for specific things, and I don't have that breakdown with me. But the Dunn Trust savings is there for a big project, so some of that could be used if the.
Unfortunately, like I call everything else, because we did get we got a response to my request.
Yeah.
That was 1/3 of what we asked. And so I really need to go out and find somebody else to participate
That would be great.
somewhere.
I'm going to talk to Janine Short at First Interstate, and since we do our banking through them, and see, because I know they have a matching program, and so,
Help on that one.
so yeah.
Okay, because Pedro had said that he was gonna check with the chamber,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Oh, sure, yeah.
there were people there that would probably participate, but he did not know that $2,000 had come in. When I went in to thank him, he wasn't aware that it had happened.
Oh,
So they must
okay.
that came from their general meeting in Rapid City.
Okay. I sent him a thank you note.
Yes, no, I'm saying, but I think
Yeah.
that afternoon I went over.
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
said thank you, and
Sure.
what's that for?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I don't know that's the point for that, but I'm just curious.
Well, it's, sure, it's
because
financial.
We still don't have the money to fix that, so it continues to wear.
Right,
All right,
but we're getting there.
oh, yeah,
So,
better than the first time.
yes, we're, hopefully we'll have that taken care of. Yeah, so then we have the savings interest, and, yeah, that's it for the financials.
Thank you. Any questions, Dr. Heim, clarifications? I will entertain a motion to approve the financial report. So moved.
And I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, let's see, that is right here. Our numbers are looking good like always, nothing out of the ordinary. Jenny Brigg will be taking down her art exhibit on Friday, so if you haven't taken a look at that, I encourage you to. There's also she's running a little, you name one of the paintings that's your favorite, and then she's going to draw out of all those names, and then she's got one of her paintings marked that if she draws your name, you get that painting. It's not necessarily the one that's your favorite, but yeah, she's going to give that away. So if you haven't done that yet, I encourage you to. I need to do that tomorrow.
Oh, that's when it's done.
She's taking it down on Friday, so yeah, you've got tomorrow to do that. And then the Black Hills Art Association is coming in October, and they always have great stuff.
She's a good artist, I guess.
Oh yeah, Jenny does a great job. Typical meetings, the programming is back up and running now that we're into September. We take August off to kind of recover and get everything ready. We had to cancel the first Harvest Moon Night hike in September because of the weather, or in August, because we had a rainstorm come through. We also had bad weather this month, but we were able to do it for a little while anyway, before the lightning came in. Sierra has started a conservation corner on Tuesdays, I think once a month or twice a month. And then we have the normal stuff that we're always doing. The numbers for Wonder Math are actually up this year. I think we had 10 or 12 kids, which is great. And we're trying to do more activity-based stuff in that so that they'll be interested and want to keep going. So they did, they're doing stuff with fire and all sorts of things should get kids interested. So that's going well. And the nighttime stuff, the adult stuff is also going pretty well. The voter registration day, we had actually 4 people come in and get voter registration forms, either because they needed to change address or get registered. So that was promising. I didn't know if we'd have any, but that's good. And then Francie Albers talked about the ballot initiatives, and a couple of you guys were there. Do you have any comments about that?
I was pleased, I thought there were,
Yeah, it was a good turnout,
it
nice
wasn't
turnout.
full, but
Well, but it was also 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, so,
It was good.
you know, you're gonna get what you get.
anybody
And
know who was the lady?
the lady that showed up late that didn't realize that it was supposed to be nonpartisan,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Was that, I'm just curious.
I don't know, she just, yeah.
Not a regular librarian.
No, I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I didn't recognize her, but, yeah, she was probably, well, she was commenting on a lot of things, and Francie did a good job of just saying, yes, that is an opinion. Now let's go on and talk about more. So, yeah, that was great.
It was well done.
Yes, and I think she helped clarify some stuff. I know there's been some stuff on public radio about it as well. They're trying to
TV too.
talk about, and this may have been what they did on TV, and they were just playing some of the excerpts, and yeah.
And they also had a debate.
Right,
That was good.
yeah, yeah, there was some good points made about this stuff. So anyway, yeah, that was good. We haven't heard anything about the Sherman Street door that's broken. Judd hasn't heard back. He turned in the 3 bids, and I don't know what's going on with that. Do you know anything about that?
We haven't had a chance to really talk about it, but as you know, we're struggling with budget stuff, and there was some conversations because it was for the handicap accessible, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the handicap.
And the fact that we have some a handicap accessible to the front of the library is we're kind of seeing if it was maybe could be put on the back burner. Wasn't quite a high priority, and then with everything else, it kind of got put on the back burner and probably I'll take the blame, probably forgotten about. In fact, I have them quotes sitting that Judd and I visited about. I think I have one, if not all of them, sitting on my desk there.
Okay.
That when you brought it up, going, there's one other thing I got to deal with too. So
Yeah.
I'll be visiting with Judd and Chris and try to figure out some kind of process going forward.
Okay. Let's see. Well, Kelly and I were just talking about the odors in the city hall lobby. Judd's working on exactly where it's coming from. It seems to be kind of a mystery, and we can't quite figure it out. It's either the elevator or the toilets aren't sealed. But I know there was a plumber here about a year ago, and he looked at the toilets, and he said those gaskets are good. Whether they're still good or not, I don't know, but the wax rings were sealing, but the water can build up in the elevator, bottom of the elevator, and that, I think, was an issue in the past. So that's on Judd's list. He's looking at that, or will be. He's working on the outside of the building right now, fixing some of that stuff. He's also going to look at any possible way to insulate the water lines that go to the staff area, because that whole area where they're exposed they freeze every winter, and they haven't broken yet, but they do freeze up to that back bathroom and staff area, and so if we can figure out how to mitigate that, that'd be great, and that's also on his list to do. So we're getting there. Things get taken care of usually. Not always super fast, but they always get done. Judd does a good job with that. So that's where we're at with facility updates. The HB 1127 stuff that we've been talking about, I do have policies written up. We'll talk about those in new business. I talked about the National Voter Registration Day already. We did finally hear back from the Rapid City Public Library, and they are ending their reciprocal agreement at the end of the year. So there will no longer, you won't be able to go to Rapid City and get a book. You'll still be able to get it through the courier. And so the reason that they gave me was the cost. It's just costing them too much money. And I think mainly from Blackhawk and Somerset. And those are, of course, the people who are calling us and asking why. And I say, well, Rapid decided they couldn't afford it. And there it is. So so that'll be going away.
For
But-
notification, will they be notifying everyone, or is it just?
They already sent out emails
They
to
did,
everybody
okay.
that had checked out a book from them with a Sturgis card.
Okay.
They got an email, and there's also a big red flag on their account
Okay,
as well, that hopefully will go away once we get to the new year. And I sent Piedmont a sample of reciprocity so, to where we could just accept Piedmont cards instead of having anybody that has a Piedmont card get a Sturgis card as well. Because anybody in Meade County can get a Piedmont card, anybody in Meade County can get a Sturgis card. We felt like they probably didn't need to, but I haven't heard back from them, so I assume their board's going to look at it and decide if that's something they want to pursue or not. So that's where we're at with that. And that's about all I know.
all right. Thank you for that report. Any unfinished business? That's listed?
No.
All right, let's move on to new business.
All right. I want to give you an update on the, let's see, if I can get this figured out here. Camera. All right. That'll turn on. Well, we're not getting,
Oh,
not having any luck. But you have the last version of the budget in your packets, and so I just wanted to go over some of the changes that were made. There was another round of cuts that I had to make, and so yeah, don't know why it's not working, but. Well, at any rate, you can look at your packets. The numbers that stayed the same were oh, here we go. Okay. Computer network and support, which is consortium costs, had to stay the same because that's stuff that as part of the consortium we have to pay. And we didn't really have any, there's no give in that. That's money that we're committed to paying. Equipment maintenance, I dropped a little bit. Building maintenance, I also dropped. This is the last numbers that I give in. These are last year's numbers, just so you can see where we're at. The book budget had been at 20,000. It's now, I dropped it down to 17. The cost of books went up about 40% over the course of this year, and we just got an email yesterday that the distributor that we get most of our stuff from, Baker and Taylor, is now adding a 2% transportation fee to every order. So 2% not bad, but they say, well, shipping's still free, but we're adding a transportation surcharge. Okay, call it what you want. So that'll eat in a little bit, but that shouldn't be too bad. Periodicals are cut down a little bit. We'll stop getting the Argus Leader next year when that's up, because that's about $700. And I don't think it is read at all. So that'll help save some money there. Processing materials have actually gone up. So this is all the stuff that, the covers that go on the books and the spine labels and all that stuff. Those costs keep rising. So that number had to go up. I did cut office supplies back a little bit to compensate for that. And I ended up getting rid of the new programming budget. So we won't be buying any new equipment next year unless it comes out of donations in Memorial Miscellaneous. Digital resources got cut back. That's Overdrive, which is money that we give to the consortium for ebooks. Medici TV was going to come out of that, but that has been cut. So if we decide we want to keep the Medici subscription, that's going to have to come out of the Memorial Miscellaneous account, and it's about $1,100. And I do have a number on how many people are using it. I just got those numbers, I think, yesterday. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Hold on. Let's see. Here we go. It looks like we've had 193 people use it this year, which is not a lot, but each person that gets on uses it for almost 2 hours at a time. So people are getting on and watching a concert almost in its entirety. So we'll have to see how that goes by the end of the year, and then decide if that's something we want to continue with or not. I feel like 200 is not a bad number for the first year, and we can keep promoting that. So we'll have to visit that as we get toward the end of the year. Going on down, postage and meter, I kept the same, although we'll probably run long on that. Audiovisual, I just gutted most of the DVDs. This is DVDs and audiobooks. A lot of people listen to audiobooks through Libby, so that's coming out of the digital resource budget rather than the audiobook budget. And a lot of our DVDs are donated. So I think we'll be okay with that number. And when we run out of money, we run out of money. Computers, that covers software. And so that money got cut back to basically what we pay for software subscriptions, which would be Adobe, Acrobat, and Illustrator, and the things we use for marketing. And also, what else is in there? Oh gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. But we have a couple other subscription software services that we use, and that money will be in that budget as well. Programming, I did have to cut a little bit, down to 38 from 4,000. And a lot of our programming does come from monies that are donated either through Sturgis Rally Charities or other organizations. So hopefully we can write some more grants and come out okay that way. I also emptied out the travel budget just down to basically what it'll cost for somebody to go to the State Library Association meeting next year. Although that won't quite be enough. But it'll cover registration and maybe hotel room. So somebody will be able to go. And then the utilities bill is a lot higher. That's the number that I was given by Lisa before she left. She said based on what the numbers were for this past year, that's where that number should be at. So that's where we're at now. We will find out over the next couple of weeks whether this budget stands or whether it's going to have to be reduced even more. So we'll see where we're at and then go from there. So I wanted to keep you guys updated on that because that's where we're at with that stuff. What is next? Policies, right? So, like I said, we've updated a couple of the policies to go along with what is now South Dakota State Law 222456. And so this basically says that minors can't access obscene material in the library, either through the computer or through books in the stacks. And so this is just clarifying. This is the computer internet usage policy. This section in red is what I added, which just simply states that we're following the state law, which we did already anyway. It's basically we're following the Children's Internet Protection Act, which is a federal law, which is SIPA, and that we have to do anyway. So this is saying that, that we're following the state law through what we do. So it's just adding that information. I don't know if you want to vote. This is first reading of the policies, so I don't know if you want to do it as a group or if you want to do it by individual policy. So I will let you guys decide how you want to do that. If you want to do it by individual policies, we'll vote on this first reading and then go on to the next one. Or we can do them all together.
Will this be the first reading of the other policy? What are your thoughts, members of the board? Do you want to take time to look at it?
They're all first readings.
Yeah?
You could just wait.
Yeah.
Are
Okay.
you okay with that? Okay, we can just
All
wait.
right. So then moving on. And in your packets, I only put the pages of the policies that have been changed because I didn't want to print an extra 60 pages of stuff that isn't any different. So the next one is in the collection policy. And at the bottom of the collection policy, under legal responsibilities, I basically added the same information. In this case, it's about what is the books that we have and the materials that we have, not what's on the internet. So it basically says the same thing, and just explains what the law says and that we are in compliance with it, which, again, we were already. The library does not purchase materials that fit the obscenity rules for the state. So again, this is just clarification that we are following the procedures. The one that is the longest, I actually didn't print out because it would be all red because it's a brand new policy. And that's the, if I can find it here. I think it's the last one you guys may have, yeah, which is the, oh, no, hold on. Policy restricting minors from accessing obscene matter or materials. This policy came about because Vermilion, their library, when they were showing some of these policy changes to their city attorney, they suggested, well, since this is a new law and each library is supposed to show how they're going to enforce that law, that maybe it would be good just to have a policy talking about that law. And so that's where this came from. And a lot of this language is what they've used. I changed a couple of things, but basically we're saying that the purpose, it lists the purpose of the law, what's the definition of an obscene material, and then simply says that we don't collect materials that violate that law, and that children 5 to 17 can get a library card if a parent or guardian accepts responsibility, and that it is basically the parent's responsibility to know what their kids are doing in the library. So we're enforcing this policy, but if there's any material in the library that a parent would not want their child to look at, it's the parent's obligation to keep the child from looking at that material. Right, we don't have anything obscene, but there are things, yeah. So, and, and the other thing we do, by we have adult section, we have kids section, we do separate materials out by age, and that, most kids aren't wandering around the stacks, the adult stacks, they just aren't. They go for the kids' books because that's what they want to check out and they want to read. So we do a good job with that, but this is just simply saying that we're following the law, we have policies in place, and then the policies for what's expected of parents and kids. So, yeah. And I think that was probably a smart thing to do, and that way it's all there. So if somebody wants to look at it, they can see that we are doing what we need to. So, any questions about that stuff? Come on, Jim.
We're doing what we're supposed to do.
You don't have a question? I'm disappointed.
I'm just glad you're here.
I'm trying to make sure all the, I's are dotted and T's are crossed. We have a pretty substantial collection policy as it is, and this is, and this kind of adds to that and makes sure that we're in compliance. So if anybody has a question, we can point them to the policy and say, here you go. So I think it's good. So if you guys want to, take a closer look at that over the month, and if there's anything that you think of or suggest, make sure you let me know, and we'll.
Parents come in and, have you had experience of parents coming in and asking about this stuff?
Not since I've been here, that I'm aware of. No, it typically does not happen. But that doesn't mean that we should not be,
Concerns, yeah,
we should not have the policies, so yeah.
A lot of time on things that,
yeah. But it's better to
Well-
have a policy, and
Well, that's, yeah,
if it happens, then we got it.
it's better
right?
to be preemptive and have something in place rather than trying to figure it out after the fact, so, yeah. Yeah. So there you go.
All right. So first reading then of the computer use policy, the collection policy, and then even though we didn't see it, I'm not sure if everyone's comfortable without. I see, that's what I was thinking. was in the back.
It's in your packet. Yeah, I didn't
okay.
print it out.
Okay.
Because the only things I printed for today were the changes that I made, and I put them in red so they would be easier to pick
Gotcha.
out of the
That's what I was gonna
policy.
say when he said it wasn't in.
And if you look at your packets online, it will be in
Yes.
color. I just didn't want to print it in color.
Any further questions for Chris on anything? All right, so just collectively with those policies, I would entertain a motion to approve the first reading.
Oh, hold on. I skipped one, and that's the,
Pardon.
we did make a couple of changes to the wording in the application
Oh,
that relates, that
okay.
relates to that. Yeah. And I can point those out to you. It's just a minor change that we made under, well, previously, if you were 17, you could get an adult card and change that to 18. That wasn't reflected on this, but it is now. So if you're under 18, you need parent signature to get a card. I also, I think on the second page, I accept responsibility for the selection of materials made by this card holder. So that's for any kid under, and actually that should read for any child under 18 years of age, not under 17. That needs to be changed. But just saying that they accept responsibility for anything their kid checks out. So that if somebody comes and says, why is my kid reading Stephen King and gave him nightmares? Well, see your signature right here? Tell the kid not to read Stephen King, you know? So just as a way to protect ourselves as well, and make sure that the parents understand that it is their responsibility. So that was the other thing, sorry. Now we can go ahead.
All right, I appreciate that. So we have the computer use policy, the collection policy, the policy restricting the minors from accessing obscene matter materials, and then the change, or the update on the card app with the, we'll change that to 18 on that last
Yes.
page. So I would entertain a motion for approve of first reading.
Make the motion.
All right, Jim? All right, thank you. All those in favor of approving first reading of those policies signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Hahn.
You have your, I think I gave you guys all a copy of the newsletter and also the next Music Speaks poster if you want to put it up somewhere. And we are doing one more super moon hike that hopefully will have nice weather and we can actually see the moon with no clouds, because we've got a telescope that I'm all ready to set up so people can actually look at the moon. But of course, that's kind of out of our control. So hopefully in October, we'll get that last super moon and it'll work.
All right,
But yeah, so there's
all right.
that.
I don't see anyone willing to or wanting to come in front of our board. Chief, do you have any, welcome, by the way.
Thanks. I figured I'd probably get engaged. I'm here, like Chris said, in Lisa's absence, so learning and hopefully can bridge any gaps that he's unable to answer from the city as well. So thank you.
All right, thanks, Chief. All right, seeing no further matters, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We'll see you next month.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Short and sweet, yeah.